close to it. Let's get right to it. Questions. It's busy time, so I won't waste your time with. We had a great day. Everybody's excited. Coaches are fired up, and so on and so forth. We'll get to your questions. That way, everybody can get answered.
Mike, with so many new guys, we talked about this in spring, but now we're at the preseason camp. It's a little bit different level of focus. Is there kind of a mix of both excitement and uncertainty because you don't necessarily know what you've got in some of these guys?
More excitement than uncertainty. Today I was much better with knowing I only had to ask twice who somebody was and the number, so that was a good day for me. I feel much better about that side of it, and the excitement is greater than the uncertainty. Just seeing what the guys we had in the weight room in the summer and the off season, and our gains and strength levels are in the top 3 of all time since I've been the head coach here. So that showed a real strong commitment from our team to me, in my opinion.
How was the energy level for day one? Was it where you were hoping it would be?
Yeah, it was good. It's it's interesting. Day one, everybody's excited, but they haven't been out here with helmets on and with the natural human reaction to heat. So it'll get better every day, but we had a good day. We're not in pads, so that's kind of a downer. So I think with maturity, you start to understand what you're going to get each day, and I'm happy with what we got today from the team.
Mike, you lost a lot of good players, but you brought in a lot of players. We'll see what kind of players they are, but what kind of, when you look at just raw talent, what's the talent level of the new guys?
I think that, the age of the portal, I think this is the future, right? Some go out, some come in. You would like to minimize that, but I'm not sure that's going to happen anymore. And I think that we went stride for stride. We'll know a lot more in about 3 weeks, and then we'll really know a lot more October 1st. But I feel good about the exchange we made player for player.
Is there a position group or two that you're really excited to see the competition of fall camp this year?
Oh, all of them. Defensively it's interesting because being in some more odd front than we've ever been in before will be fun to watch. It'll be interesting to watch how our middle player competes. We've got a number of running backs that don't really have much experience. It'll be interesting to watch and see where they're at. And then it'll be interesting to watch how things transform and as we go through the quarterback position.
It seems like those running backs, they all kind of bring something different. Is that good to have variety there?
Well, unfortunately, that's the one position that guys get hurt. They take direct hits from all different angles, very difficult position to play. So you would like to go into the season with 4 of them. If you go in with 3 and then the 4th guy learning on the run, it's okay. But that's the one position you always concern yourself with from a depth standpoint.
Is that second scenario kind of 3 with 1 learning on the run? Is that where you feel you're at right now?
I think so.
Is that going to be kind of an important thing, that just monitoring usage, not just games, but here in practice?
Yeah. So, in my opinion, the difficult side of evaluating and getting running backs ready is they really have to run full speed and get hits in order for you to know where you're at. We don't do as much of that now in practice as we did years ago. It used to be live and running backs in team period, and so you knew in a couple weeks who was prepared and physically had the ability to compete on game day. Now we don't take as many direct hits in practice, so unfortunately you learn some in the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Mike, you talked at Big 12 Media Day about improving the run game, getting that more set. I know this is just day one, but how do you feel where you guys are now in that regard, and what do you want to see in the coming weeks in practice?
I think the commitment has to come from our staff and our concepts and schemes, and then in most cases you get good at what you practice, and things that you make a priority you improve on. And so I've asked our offensive staff to make it a point to improve in the running game, and I'm fairly confident that'll happen.
You look at some of the Big 12 preseason polls, and you guys are a little bit lower. You've had some of your best seasons in the past when maybe people outside the program didn't have that high.
Yeah, so here's the good news about the Big 12. Nobody knows what's going to happen in this league. And I've said this a number of years, is the parity in this conference, and it's even grown more now with the new teams coming in. And so I think our players look at that some. I don't know. I never hear them talk about it. Sometimes I bring things up to them to kind of jab them, and they're unaware of it. It's kind of a downer. I think I can really set them off, and they really, they were probably watching SpongeBob or something instead of actually paying attention to that. But with the Big 12, you just look over the history at 3, 4, 5 years. It's pretty much anybody's game.
Mike, going back to running backs there, I noticed DeAndre Jackson's not on the roster. Is he no longer with the team?
That's correct, yes.
Tim Rattay says he always likes to see the first day of practice because he wants to see physically, how much better the quarterbacks look. Maybe if they've got a little more on the ball, the way they throw it. I'm sure you were looking at that too.
Yeah, they've had good numbers. We had a couple quarterbacks that shot up strength levels from April to last week, and that's what you'll see with quarterbacks that have really done well in the weight room, and in all their core and their torso and such. You'll see it out here in practice, and so like the other positions, we had a couple of guys that shot up pretty good in that area.
What's the importance of Kendal Daniels to the defense this year? Has that increased over what you needed maybe from him in the past?
Yeah, for two reasons. One, he's a returning experienced player. Like, he was out there last year and he would make plays, but he was just out there. A freshman that, if we're relying on freshmen to win games, it's not generally going to turn out very good. Now he's a veteran. He gets it. He understands. I can remember playing in my second year after I played as a freshman, and I saw the game much differently. And the position he plays is very important in the style of defense that we'll be in a lot this year.
Again, I know it's early, but what have you seen so far? How do you sort of see him adjusting in the new role?
Well, I watched him today, and he looks aggressive, and he's at a unique spot. He has to be very aggressive, but also defend the field. So he has to study tape. He has to have an understanding and a good savvy and a concept of the game, and he seems like he's doing well. I kind of watched him today. We know a lot more in a week.
Bowman is obviously a first-year player here at OSU, but all the experience he has just in college football in general, how much does that help him kind of get acclimated to your scheme?
Yeah, it is. I should know this, but he's probably like 24 years old or something. And as we all know, in this game, there's a considerable difference from a 24-year-old and a 20-year-old, just like there is in 18 and 22, just experience. I mentioned this earlier. He spent time at Tech with a coach who's a good offensive coach, and being at Michigan and learning that style. And I'm guessing that they know what they're doing on offense and all those things. Even though he wasn't on the field much, they're going to play a factor in how you are as we move down the line. We're going to have to name that fly, aren't we? He's wearing you and I. We must be wearing the same perfume.
With the quarterbacks, you said back at Big 12 Media Days, a couple of weeks before you zero in on somebody. Is that kind of the ideal time to give everybody a chance, but then focus on?
Yeah. So whether we like it or not, we live in the age of the portal, and in this time, we need to make sure as coaches, more so than ever, that we give everybody quality time to work it out. Position-wise, almost caught him. Position-wise, based on their work on the field. And so I have shared with the staff that up through the first 10, 12 days or so of practice that I want guys working with different groups. I want concepts minimized, and I want to be able, when we name a depth chart, I want to be able to look them all in the eye and say everybody had a fair shot. And I think that's all we can do as coaches for the players, and then I think the players will respect that more so than we have in years past.
Michael Bowman played a lot at Tech for 3 years, went to Michigan, didn't play much
Right.
in 2 years.
Right.
Does that mean he sort of his development was stagnated, or was a guy who doesn't play, and at that advanced age, is he still able to get some development, or is it just sort of a reboot?
I think he learned. I'm going to guess that he learned a lot from being in that system. Some of the things that we're doing now are similar to a little bit of what they've done in their past. I see where that has helped him out here. My honest opinion is he won't be as far ahead now as he would have been if he'd have been playing. There is no substitute for live reps. That's just my opinion.
Like you guys will put the pads on Saturday, I believe. Is that right?
I think Friday. Friday, yeah.
Is there anything you specifically look for in the first couple of days? Before
You know, I'm
start?
excited about it because it's difficult to practice without pads. So we're telling the players to, you know, the guys in the box to go 4 steps and stop. And then when they get in pads, we're telling them to run like hell. You know, so we're just kind of pulling them and pushing them. So I'm excited because it means we get back to real football, and we get a good feel for where everybody's at.
Mike, you got a lot of Big 8 and Big 12 experience to not only get Colorado coming back into this league and growing it, but to have a brand that's been here before. Just kind of your thoughts on that.
I mean, I'm almost like Notre Dame. I've been telling you guys for 18 months what's going to happen. And I think I've hit it every time. I'm glad you brought it up. 2 things. I said Oklahoma State would be in great shape no matter what, which has happened. And I said eventually the Big 12 conference will rise and be just fine, which has happened. And I said that conference realignment is not finished yet, and it's not finished now. It's still going to go on. So we're thrilled to have Colorado. And, you know, I actually need to reach out to Coach Sanders and welcome him to the league. I haven't done that yet. But they fit in the Big 12. You know, they go all the way back. Were they Big 6?
They
Big
made a
seven.
big 7.
They
made 7. Okay, I was 1 off on that. So my Notre Dame deal went out the window. So Big 7, right? Big 8, Big 12, and they're right here. You know, we grab that time zone, but just the tradition of I remember going up there and they would have snow pushed to the side of the field, and when we do our Friday walkthroughs, and you know, it's a good setting. It's a good setting for college football. You know, they have a traditional mascot that's cool. You know, I mean, I used to watch him run out before games. I mean, one, to make sure I wasn't in his way, because the guys that were holding on, they weren't actually leading him; they were holding on. They couldn't do anything if he went the wrong direction, honestly. But with what's going on now with the alignment, as it finishes up here over the next month, maybe a week, I think that they're bringing some strength back, and I understand what's happened the last X number of years record-wise, but I think that the addition of coach there has generated a lot of excitement, and I think that has an advantage for this league from a marketability across the country. And that's what this comes down to, right? We're trying to market so you can get sales, so you can get ESPN and Fox to pay you money to play on TV.
Nostradamus, would you like to tell us who's coming next?
I mean, you know what I should do? I should write it down and stick it on
We've
a wall.
got some cameras here.
Yeah.
Keeping track of this for us.
I should write it down and stick it up there, and then when the next group comes, you guys will be excited.
It takes the distinction away from Oklahoma State. Colorado will now, once they come back in, have the tightest sidelines. Theirs are tighter
I
than
forgot
these.
about that. That's right. Yeah, then they have that low wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you guys might know, I think they were selling beer at games way before everybody else.
Yeah, I think
They,
so.
they had a brewing company that was 42 minutes away from their campus, so.
Coors, they call it.
And Golden.
The banquet beer.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, the gold jackets, the old banquet style. That's real beer.
I'm working on a renovation story for Boone Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you remember about first stepping into the stadium, way before it was ever Boone Pickens?
Renovation. What do you mean?
Or just like the off-season changes to the
Oh,
stadium.
in our stadium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking about Lewis Field.
Yeah. You know, when I came here, started watching games in high school, I didn't come to a lot of games here because it was much further than going to Norman. I could get to Norman easier. But when I came here, I didn't really pay much attention to it because at that time, when I was playing high school ball at Midwest City, I mean, our locker room was the size of this meeting here and had one toilet and it leaked most of the time. So things like that didn't affect me. Then when I came here, I was playing, I didn't really care, but then when I became a coach and you started recruiting and you started hearing, that's when it became an issue and you started looking around. And with what you see now on the north side, and then they matched the paint really well, the black seats look really good. They've made it a comfort zone for people to want to come to the games and be comfortable, because now that's what that's the trend, right? Luxury seating, people coming to the games, being comfortable, get them to go to concession stands, get them to spend money, all the things that don't matter, that all matter now. And then once they do the north side, we'll have a really beautiful stadium. And he started it however many years ago. And once this is completed a year from now, it's really going to be a beautiful stadium. I think that the capacity is perfect. I think the seating is going to be good. There's not really a bad seat in the stadium. And we just have a few other things to do over the next year or two, and it'll be a beautiful complex.
Last couple questions, we're going to lose our players.
You know, Mike, I think it was USA Today, to welcome Colorado into the league, they ranked the stadiums in the Big 12, and they had you guys number one.
Really?
Going forward,
Yeah. And you've been just at any stadium in the country. I've been in a lot of them now. There's not very many that I haven't been in that people would say are worth, being there. And there's a different approach, right? So, if you have the approach of being at Tennessee on the river, and it's 106 or 10 or something like that, but is every seat a good seat? So it's a difference of opinion. Colorado is a cool stadium, and I think they used to walk up and the basketball arena was connected. Is it still that way? Or did they get a new arena?
No, same one they had from when you were there.
Yeah, you go up and it's back in there. Yeah. If you're a traditionalist, you're going to like what we've done. If you're looking for, a different concept compared to, people that have 110,000, but this is a good place to play.
Thank you.
Good. All right. You bet.
Too slow, but everything it all works out in the end. So I love inside zone in general. It's my go-to. So
I know you played with Garrett some in high school. How's he handled that adjustment? Because I'm guessing it's pretty new for him too.
Yeah. So no, he's willing to learn. Like, that's one thing I love about Garrett. He's always going to come in and work his butt off and just try his best to learn and everything. And like at first he got a little frustrated about it. I mean, I don't blame him. It's hard being going under center, trying to get those snaps when you haven't done it. But I mean, he's really adjusted really well, and he's been working hard and still works hard to this day just to make sure the snaps and everything are right, because that's a big part of our offense. If you can't get the snap, then you don't have a play. So
appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys have a new face in the room. How says he doing?
Oh, he's doing real good. No, this summer he just showed a lot of talent and everything and potential. So I'm excited to see him out here, especially when we get pads on. I'm excited to see what he can do. He has a lot of potential. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm excited for the freshman. No, he's gonna be really good. Trust.
What's the dynamic of the room like? Because none of you guys have played a ton at OSU, anyways. Alexis played a lot. But what's the leadership dynamics of the room like?
We really just work together. We learn together. We coach each other up. If there's one thing that we notice the other person's doing wrong, if there's one thing that we like that one person's doing, we're gonna ask about it. We just talk. We try to help each other out. I mean, yes, it's a competition, but at the same time, we all want each other to, like, if I'm not gonna be the guy, I don't want Ollie or Elijah to be, to not be prepared and everything. Even if we got to put Ceci in there, I don't want them to not be prepared. So we all just help each other out and take care of each other and make sure we're all on the same page. Make sure each other are here for meetings, lifts, whatever it is. We just look out for each other. So
does it kind of feel like it's finally your time in a way?
It does. It's crazy to think about. I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm a leader now. I gotta take care of the younger guys. I'm up there now. Like you said, it's about my time. So I've been locking in mentally, preparing myself mentally and physically, just not only to be better at my position, but also help lead the team so we can be great this year.
Anybody surprising in the weight room this summer? There's always one or two guys that turn into freaks.
Justin was going crazy. Kirkland was going crazy too. Oh my goodness. I'm talking about bar bending. He over there on them backs, crazy. No, we have a whole bunch of talented, strong, freak athletes in the weight room. I'm not gonna lie. If y'all can get in there one day, y'all gonna have to see it for yourself, because boy, they be lifting. I ain't a big lifter. I'll run, but no, them boys be lifting. So, of course.
Have the coaches expressed that there's going to be a lead back this year, or is it going to be more committee?
They haven't really told us much of anything. I see it as we all gotta work, we all gotta grind, because whether there's a lead or we're rotating, I mean, we all gotta be prepared and ready to go. And we're gonna see who's willing to go, who wants it, who's gonna work this fall camp. So there's not really a decided position, but we'll see at the end of fall camp and just going throughout the season.
What did you do this summer to make yourself better? Because I know it kind of burns in you to be the guy.
Yeah, sorry. No, just push myself a lot in the weight room. That's one thing. And just even pushing myself mentally, making sure my mentals is right. Because, I mean, you want to be right physically, but if you're not right mentally, if you can't approach the game willing to attack it and everything, if you're going into a situation like, I'm here, I got to be here, I got to do this, I got to do that, then, you know, you're not going to be prepared, you're not going to be willing. So just preparing myself physically and mentally, just getting ready for this season and everything, because it's my year pretty much. It's our year too as a team. So got to get ready to lead this team, help this team as much as I can.
You see what happens in the NFL. Running backs don't last long.
Yes, sir.
And you know, physically, you're not going to be 220. That's not
No.
going to be your game.
No,
so
sir.
how do you exist as a running back? I'm going to say 198.
I'll say 190.
190?
Yes, sir.
How do you exist as a running back at 190? Because it's a tough position, it gets hit a lot.
Oh, it is. That's a tough question. I really like that question.
Well, that core will help.
Most definitely. No, just pushing myself a lot in the weight room, knowing it's not going to be easy. I mean, you're going to get hit a lot. I signed up to get hit a lot. But one thing that I like using my speed too. I try my best to evade, use my size. I'm not really, like you said, I'm not 220. I'm not even 200. So I got to use my size to my advantage, whether that's slipping through little holes, getting skinny and everything, and just using my speed and acceleration to really outrun defenders and everything.
Coach Gundy said it's going to take all you guys.
It is.
He's planning on, 4 running backs. He's got 3 that are ready, 1 that's training, and all 4 may be needed.
Yes, sir. No, I definitely agree. We're going to need all of us. I mean, we can't just rely on one back to do it all this season. I mean, we see how it can take a toll. Like you said, running backs don't last. If you just push one running back the whole season, it's going to be hard. By the time we get to the end of the season, body's going to be broken down. It's just going to be hard for them to push through. And then now you're trying to get the young guys or guys who haven't really played as much or got that as much experience in there to play, and now they're trying to get adjusted and everything. So I believe it's going to take all of us, whether that's from the speed side, the power side, just wherever. It's going to take all of us, and I'm excited. All of us are ready. Ceci's going to be ready too.
Mm-hmm. From a mental
your importance with this team this year. He said you've got to be aggressive, but you've also got to be aware of what's happening around you, behind you.
Yeah.
What's the challenge of playing this position as you started to settle into it?
The challenge wouldn't be, I mean, as like he said, they'd be aggressive, but just to know, and you have to know a lot of things. It's a lot of technical stuff that goes into playing this position. I mean, it is on this type of defense everywhere, every position. So just being able to be aggressive and just taking the aspect of being a leader and being that middle safety is the biggest part.
Do you feel like this is the perfect time in your career to sort of make an adjustment that's going to demand a lot out of you?
Oh, what was it like?
Do you think this is a good time where you are just in your evolution to
I feel like God has a plan, so I feel like this is the best time for what's happening right now.
Yeah. Do you, when you guys made this switch with the defense, did you think, yeah, this is going to be great? What was your thought process?
I was happy just to sit down. And I mean, at first it was kind of like, what are we going to do? But I actually got to sit down with Coach Nardo and go over the defense, and we just figured out how we were going to do it, and I loved it ever since.
You obviously have a lot going on, but I know you can see those linebackers operating in front of you. Obviously, Colin moving to the different position, Justin coming in. What have you seen out of those guys as practice got started?
As practice is going on, I just feel like CO has got more comfortable at linebacker. At first, he was kind of, I mean, he wasn't like bad at it, but it was kind of like it was different, the plan. But now he can play. He can go down and blitz off the edge if he needs to. It's easier to learn linebacker than go down and blitz and have to drop down. So I feel like with CO being right there, it's really good for him. And I feel like, as for the other guys, I feel like we're going to have a stacked linebacker room because everybody's been making plays. So at the end of the day, I'm just happy that we have that depth and have guys competing every day to be great.
We had talked in April. What did you do over the offseason, and where have you grown the most in the last, 4 or 5 months?
How I've grown the most is just learning to be a professional. Just if you want to be a pro, you have to act like a pro, eating, sleep, taking the time out. I mean, last year I didn't watch that much film, but you have to sit down and be a pro at it. You have to work at your craft, just watching film and working out a little bit more on my covering skills and just, getting just being criticalized on like my footwork, how fast I am. You know, just working on the little things with my feet. It's really what I've been working on.
The guys on the defense. How does that feel coming into camp?
I feel like it don't feel no different than how I felt last year. I don't come in here and be like, dang, I'm just going to play this year. I'm coming here the same way I were last year, just trying to get ready for the season, try to go out there, learn the plays, and go out there and win games.
Do things slow down for you with every year that goes?
Yeah, I feel like last fall I was coming in here and I was kind of like ready to make plays and everything, but now it's kind of like, I don't know, it's real slow. I'm just going out there and just reading everything, and then I'm yelling at Coach Nardo mid-play to like figure out if I'm doing this right or doing that right, just slowing everything down and getting the guys around me just ready.
In this defense of Nardo's, the 3-3, how much freedom do you feel like you have back there to just be an athlete and make plays for this defense?
I feel like everybody on this defense in some type of, each play call can have freedom, so I feel like this defense really gives us the option to play not how we want to play, but not be a robot and just play freely.
Is that exciting to you?
Yeah, it is. Just to be able, it kind of gives me like the feeling of high school again, just to be out there and go out there and just make plays and just be a football player again.
Do you think that having a little bit more experience gives you more confidence coming into this year?
Oh yeah, confident. I don't know how I'm gonna go into the first game. I might have the same jitters as I did last year, but just being able to have those games under my belt is a really big thing. Just because as the season went on last year, I got more comfortable, and then going into spring ball and after fall camp, everything should slow down and get back to normal.
You've obviously got some preseason accolades before the year started. How's that feel?
It feels good. Just to. At the end of the day, it's just football. Been getting accolades for a long time, and accolades can only get you so much far. You can only do so much with accolades. I still have to come out here and sweat 10 pounds off and work every day. So at the end of the day, it's just another post on Instagram.
Obviously, you guys have had a lot of transfer come in. What do you think Anthony Goodlow brings to the defense?
Oh man, he's a big dude. I feel like he brings the aspect of you can't double him. With the three guys up front and a linebacker coming off, so with all three guys up front, you can't double them because we're sending another. I feel like, I don't know. I'd hate to. Goodlow's a big dude. Yeah.
What is Coach Nardo like out there? It seems like he just has high energy and very youthful.
Yeah, he's real youthful. Just being able to go up to him is real comfortable. Just to be able to go up to him and just ask him all right, how can we break this down? If he always tells me he's not just going to tell me the play. He's going to tell me the breakdown of everything that the offense is going to could do out of this, the weakness to this defense, the strength. So just being able to, I learned a lot about defense just listening to Coach Nardo. So he's a really good guy.
You guys, if you look at some of the preseason polls for Big 12, you guys are kind of middle of the pack or a little lower. Do you look at that at all? Does it bother you or affect you in any way?
No, not really. The guys that made that probably sitting at home right now asleep or something, on their computer or something. So it really don't bother me. We're out here working every day. They only see what we put out there, so we'll just show them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You talked earlier about eating different, eating better. Was there any foods that you were like, oh man, I got to give that up?
Foods that I had to give up, probably. I ate a lot of Chipotle during January and February, but just foods like that during the summer, I had to really realize that. I had to put on a lot of weight, so I had to figure out what was the difference between good weight and bad weight. So I had to figure out you can't eat pizza every day. You got to, really break down the carbs and everything, and just you have to. If you eat cheese at night, I'm lactose intolerant, and you do that, and then you go run stadiums in the morning, you're gonna throw up. So just being just doing little things like that really helped me.
You're a young guy, but you have a little bit of wisdom about you already.
Yes, sir.
Is that something that you think, hey, I've got to tell the younger guys about this too to get them moving in the right direction?
Yeah, just me being, I'm an older guy now, but I'm still young, so I don't take the how I say this, the senior, how a senior come in, the senior is always on you, he really don't talk to you. I really just kind of have a relationship with the young guys because I know how it is, being away from home. I grew up an hour away. Some of the freshmen here far away from home. So just making them comfortable, some probably were frustrated today that they didn't get many reps, but they just got to come in and just take their time and just, work at the craft.
You talked about eating good and putting on that weight. How do you think that's going to translate to the field in some of the ways that
that new weight, the good weight you talked about, add to your game?
Because sometimes I'm gonna have to drop down to linebacker level and just play linebacker some plays, or have to go deep. I had to learn that if I put on too much weight, then I wouldn't be able to move the same. I had to be able to still move at this weight. So I feel like the weight that I'm at now is really good.
I'm really concerned about the mental carryover from the last spring practice, and you could tell you guys were really feeling like you knew the defense, you knew what you were doing. You come back, I know you had metabolics, but it's different. You come back out here, how much carryover? How much did guys retain? How good was the starting point?
Oh yeah, starting now and starting at the end of spring, I feel like it's a big difference. Just to be able to, over the summer, we really got to break down the defense. Yeah, we were rushing. I mean, not rushing during the spring, but we were just putting plays in and seeing how they work. But I feel like now we actually know what. I'm knowing what the linebackers doing, what the D-line is doing, and what the corners are doing. At first, I was just trying to figure out what I needed to do. So now, it makes it way easier.